My name is Geri Gillespy. I am the Administrator of Digital Integration for the West Ada School District in Idaho. We are the largest school district in Idaho with a little over 40,000 students in 55 buildings. I support all the instructional technology K through 12 there. Today I'm going to talk about something that's typical in education. I have 7 minutes to talk about something that's so foundational to what we do, and that's professional development, but most of all, professional development to change practice. Because if we're going to spend money and teachers are going to spend time, there's a reason why we're doing it, for student learning, and we need practice to change and support that student learning. So we're going to look at ways that we can possibly do that. Find me on Twitter at Geri Gillespy. I have given a lot of the materials that you're going to see in these slides out to districts all over. So if there's anything here that you want to know more about, please feel free to reach out to me. So what do we know about technology and integration in schools? Well, we know that it needs to be able to have encourage students to collaborate and communicate and use it the way that they're going to use it someday in the real world. For jobs, we always say that they don't know what they'll be doing. My own son right now has a degree in digital media that he graduated 2 years ago. His job is working for a sports auction company, and he posts media descriptions of what they're selling. That job did not exist when he started college. So that really is a true statement in how they're using this and how things are changing. But he has the ability to use technology to communicate, collaborate, and to deepen skills and to use it the way that we need to. So the question is, are we letting teachers do that? Are we giving teachers the opportunity to be able to use technology in the way that we want our students to be able to use the technology to do those kinds of skills and abilities? So if we know technology is a tool that can get us there and allow students to get to that deeper learning and make ownership of their own learning, are we giving all the people in our school districts the chance to do that? So that even means I have a math teacher in our high school who's been teaching 30 years, and he still has a chalkboard and chalk because he did not want the new whiteboard with the markers. So we really realized in our district everybody had access to devices, but when we went into schools, it was 10% of the teachers using all of the technology, and you had other teachers really not sure what to do with it. So we realized if we meant all, we meant all, because we were creating our own digital gap in our district. So teachers are the essential piece, and we know that it has to be intentional, and technology is not always the answer. So we needed to be able to go and support teachers, and this is when I was a principal. We had a handwriting program that was, handwriting without tears, and this is what we want to do, is how do we support our teachers without tears? And if you do professional development, there's always tears somewhere. There's either tears of frustration, joy, anywhere. So there's always tears involved. So we wanted to make sure if we were going to have tears, we wanted tears of joy. First thing we realized is we needed to know our people. And this is the first thing I tell you that you need to go out and do. Teaching is personal. You need to know the identity of your teachers, because it doesn't matter what it is. If they don't believe in it, if they don't feel confident using it, it doesn't matter how magical it is, they won't use it in their classroom. So the first thing we do is we created post and pre-post surveys, and we asked things about beliefs, we asked things about practice, we asked things about their self-perceptions of what they needed and the skills that they needed. That gave us a lot of information about how to target support for them, because our time was limited with them. We needed to identify clear expectations. So we created a success criterion for every skills that we have and where we wanted them to be, so that teachers can see what they needed to be able to do and get through that transition. We created a skills progression that we call walk, jump, leap. That leap is a transfer of skills and where we need it, because that's where student ownership and things are going to come into play. We created an implementation progression. If you notice, it starts with the leaders in the building. Like the previous presentation, leadership is essential, having the right people in the building. So we start with the leader and the admin teams, and we set those expectations all the way through to where we have student ownership. And then we create that support of team structure. That is essential. You've got to have a support system. And that does not mean train the trainer. That means that you have a team of teachers that are looking at focused, aligned, clear examples of how they want to use it, that they're actively engaged in the learning, that they have a chance to facilitate and be able to help each other, gain capacity, but most important, reflection, right? So we also model expectations and accountability. We practice what we preach. If we are going to have teachers and ask them to collaborate and communicate and teach their students how to do that and use technology in ways that will deepen learning, then we have to give them those opportunities to do that. We started with productivity. We call these impact areas. How do we make your job easier? How do we get down and see what kind of tools we have? And we go all the way down the spectrum from collaboration, from teacher to teacher to student, and then student to student, until we get to that ownership learning in the bottom. We offered very different types of learnings, including ed camps, teacher-led types of professional development. We had blended learning where people could meet on, we use Microsoft Teams. They are allowed to get on there and have post discussions. I have groups right now that have elementary teachers discussing teaching strategies with high school teachers. I've got a teacher who's learning how to differentiate in his classroom, and he, a science teacher. That's something he's never done before. And then we also have a menu of support so that people have an option of how they can get a hold and support us. Now, I know we mentioned that we are a large school district, but my team is 4. There are 4 of us, and we support 44,000 people. So you can do it, because we have seen a change, and this is probably the most important piece, is we call it walk, jump, leap. If you are teachers in here, I'm going to tell you, give yourself a break. Take the time to learn the tool for yourself. Get there, and the first thing good educators want to do is they want to figure out how I'm going to use this in my classroom. And we tell our teachers, stop for a second. Learn this for yourself, because it has to be a transfer skill, and eventually you will get there and the creativity will flow. And that's how we see our teachers sharing chapters with authors in Europe. I have 5th graders who helped edit a new book last week. So you want to build a network of collaboration and allow teachers those opportunities to find and reach out to each other. And this is probably really important too, reflection. It's not the art and science of teaching, it's the art and science of reflection. Just because you trained on it does not mean that it's going to happen in daily application. So set up a follow through to make sure that you can reach those teachers and see what they need and fail forward. So I know it's a lot in 7 minutes, but hopefully if you need anything, you can reach out to me.